Good evening, this is Shannon from Prof Maker Ag. I hope that you have had an absolutely outstanding Saturday and everything is going as well as you could ever hoped. Oops. A little technical difficulty there. So, excuse me. So, title this video, Addicted. Now, you're probably going, well, why would you title a video Addicted? We're on agriculture. Well, I took a class the last 2 days and they were talking about social media and how we are addicted and how many posts and how many engagements on the different platforms and email and everything else there are per minute, which just absolutely blew my mind. Well, then I got to thinking about how that's going to translate to agriculture and what are we addicted to that we can't seem to break the cycle of? Is it we're addicted to continuing to put on more and more dry P&K? Are we addicted to adding more and more livestock even if our ground won't sustain that or our water sources won't sustain that? Are we addicted to anhydrous and continuing to put on fall anhydrous because it's quote unquote easy? Are we addicted to adding more equipment all the time? Are we addicted to economy of scale versus economy of efficiency? So let's unpack a few of these real quick. Farmers have kind of been sold a bill of goods. And just like any drug addict, farmers have slowly been getting more addicted to certain aspects. And if you consider and you start digging down a little deeper, why and how did we become addicted to those things? Well, one, way back in the day, we became addicted to dry P&K because we knew that we needed to start building our soils a little better to deal with the increased crop yields. And starter fertilizer really was not a great, efficient avenue back then. Well, times have changed, and we know times have changed because now we drive the fanciest piece of equipment. We are planting seed genetics that allow us to have amazing amounts of potential every year. Yet we don't want to adjust our fertilizer programs. We want to leave those back in the dark ages because we're still addicted to being in a build program. Now, having said that, there are soils out there that have been mined year after year after year without anything being put back. It's just basically like the coal mines in out east that were strip mined. That's what we've done to some of our soils because people were more interested in greed than doing the right thing. Folks, there's a whole massive amount of infrastructure and dollars behind keeping you addicted to dry P&K and anhydrous. And they plan on keeping you that way. Unless we start educating ourselves more. Unless we start engaging what God gave us between our two ears and networking with people that truly are going to care about our bottom line. There are starter fertilizers now that will enable you to not worry about corrosion. Seed safe if you use them at the recommended rate according to the soil test. And also you can have the flexibility of addressing your micronutrient needs, which are becoming essential as we increase our yields more and more and more. And we're asking those soils to put more effort into growing those massive crops. Folks, I mentioned the soil test. If you're familiar with the Conklin Company, you know everything is based around their world-class interactive soil test system. If you're not and you would like some more details on that, give me a call at 515-822-7095. Be happy to share that with you, or give me a text and let me know a good time is to engage with you and share that great information. Now, one thing we really have to watch is, and a question I get is, well, yeah, but how are we going to maintain our levels if we're pulling off these crops with our P&K? With the increase in technology, like the furrow jets that came out, 2x2 has been around for a long time. We can start addressing a P&K program with liquid versus putting that dry P&K on the top of the ground. So, like I said, if you would like to discuss this further, give me a call or a text at 515-822-7095. Anhydrous and nitrogen in general is always a massive discussion, and everybody always wants to get their hackles up, and instead of having a legitimate civil discussion about it and actually getting down to the facts of what it provides. Folks, fall anhydrous is good for the co-ops. It's not necessarily good for you. And as my friend Mr. Rod Livesey over at A Better Way to Farm says, everything in agriculture is good for somebody. Is it good for you, the farmer? That's the question. And how many farmers do you know? And I know it's none of the illustrious group that are going to be watching these videos. But how many of your neighbors are addicted to adding as much iron as they can? They have to have the newest piece of equipment sitting in their yard. Folks, that's just as much of an addiction as dry P&K and anhydrous. How many people do we know that have to get more and more acres? They have to just keep gobbling up as much as they can instead of becoming more efficient and more economic on the acres they already have. And if we can address some of these addictions, we can start to turn things around for agriculture. We start to get some of our power back. And the same thing goes for the livestock producers. Oh, we have to get more cows. We have to get more cows. How about we work on growing more grass on the acres we have? How about we work on weaning more pounds per acre than getting more animals? Folks, there's efficiencies that we can chase that will help your bottom line more than giving into the addictions that afflict agriculture. And there's one more, and I don't know if I probably should touch it, but what the heck, might as well. There is another major addiction that agriculture has, and that's government payments. I had a question mark on it by my sheet and debated whether I needed to go into this one or not, but, well, it's Saturday night. So, folks, how many people do we know, as soon as a new government program rolls out, they're at the front door of the USDA office? They're looking to see how they can tweak it to get as many dollars out of the government because it's quote-unquote free money. In my opinion, that money is no different than somebody that's on welfare that doesn't want a job and doesn't want to work. And yes, our farmers and our ranchers and everybody in agriculture works their butt off to put a good crop in and take a better crop out. But if you're taking welfare, you're still taking welfare. I'll just kind of let that sink in and let that smolder for a while. Folks, we have to start breaking these addictions. We have to start breaking out of the status quo that is afflicting agriculture. And if you'd like to discuss this or any other subjects related to agriculture, give me a call or a text to set up your appointment at 515-822-7095, or drop me a message on Facebook at Profit Maker Agriculture, and I'll be happy to have that discussion with you. Have a great Saturday night, and we'll plan on seeing you tomorrow night.